Under Ban Ki-moon, the UN brought cholera to Haiti, which killed 10,000 people. Inner-city press went to cover a meeting and was thrown out of it. This is the story.
This is for the UN having killed 10,000 people plus in Haiti. Empty rooms, empty promises.
Support for the elections, for which new dates have just been announced by the Provisional Electoral Council.
It's not a closed meeting. He said.
The first round will be held on November 20th.
While she's speaking?
And the
While
second
the
round
SRFG
on
is speaking?
29th of January.
That's an organized.
In this context, the Secretary General's new approach to cholera.
They said it was open. You can watch the noon briefing. You can say whatever. It's not over. I'm going to the spokesman's office because he said it's open. You know? We're going up. Let's go check it out. Stephane Dujarric. Stephane, sorry to bother you. I was just told to leave the Haiti Cholera meeting. And since you said it was open.
I said the part would be webcast.
Sandra Honoré is still speaking. There was somebody else filming there too.
I said it would be webcast. The meeting's not open.
It doesn't say closed anywhere on the sign.
Matthew, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
Tomorrow afternoon, there'll be a briefing for member states on the issue. The Deputy Secretary General, the SRSG, Haiti, Stephane Dujarric, and Dr. Nabar will share with member states some of the initial thoughts on the way ahead. Intervention by the three UN officials will be available to you on web TV.
You said that this Haiti meeting will be on easy TV, but since
I said it would be on web TV.
okay, okay, I think
I said web TV, and that's what I meant.
okay.
We are in a hurry. They need no desperate. We must convey to them that our approach to the hurricane and to the cholera includes a commitment to also help forge
This is the UN meeting on Haiti cholera. A letter has been passed out, but not to the press. But it is open. There's another journalist over there, and we're here. And there is the U.S. Deputy Ambassador for Management Reform.
The Secretary General will visit Haiti to deliver this message of solidarity and support directly to the Haitian people. On the hurricane response,
The room is nearly empty.
requested $119 million immediately. 119. This will cover food.
This is for the UN having killed 10,000 people plus in Haiti. Empty rooms, empty promises.
The water and sanitation infrastructure in the hurricane-affected areas has been destroyed. The response must be early and quick action.
The Deputy Secretary of the UN, Jan Eliasson of Sweden, I'll zero in on him. Next to him is David Navarro, running to head WHO, Ross Martin, mounted longtime official, and Michelle Griffin.
Let me now turn to the new approach that we are presenting, and you will see it elaborated.
Strangely, the U.S. administration, despite getting long letters from the Congressional Black Caucus, has done nothing. Here's the U.S. missions ambassador on management and reform, Isobel Coleman. She's also been asked to act on the eviction by Ban Ki-moon of the investigative press that covers Haiti cholera. Did nothing. Zero. But more to the point, look at this room. There's nobody here. How are they going to raise $181 million when there's no one here?
We already, before this hurricane, expected a spike in after the rain. But now we, unfortunately...
There's another guy filming, okay? We do that because...
Now, the second track aims to develop a framework proposal to member states for material assistance to those Haitians most affected by cholera after the 2010 outbreak. The Secretary General intends to present a proposal on this to the General Assembly before he leaves office. We are committed to discuss this proposal with the Haitians, both the government and those most affected by cholera. We have had to adjust the timing, as you understand, on the consultations and the Secretary's presentation to the DA to the new realities caused by the hurricane.
So now the hurricane will be the excuse for doing nothing on killing 10,000 people. It's shameful. What were the excuses for the first 5 years?
Delay of the electoral process. The timelines have been slightly adjusted, yes.
Excuses.
We are working very hard on the design of our proposal and are making good progress. I finished a long conversation with Ross Mountain and Thomas and others on this morning. I know this will be a complex process, but the end result will, I'm sure, represent a wholehearted and good faith effort.
Good faith? UN? Haiti Cholera? Oxymoron. Too little, too late. Ban Ki-moon.
As the UN and you as member states together should.
You as member states. Let's cut to this view again.
Here are some of the key
You as member states.
that are related
Now they'll blame member states.
to the assistance package.
5 years of dodging legal papers.
How do we identify and prioritize
including through contributions to the flash appeal, also to address the deterioration in health conditions, including the transmission of cholera being observed in affected areas. And it requires a long-term approach to recovery and reconstruction that includes support for the elections, for which new dates have just been announced by the Provisional Electoral
It's
Council.
not closed meeting. He
With the
said,
first round to be held on November 20th
while she's speaking?
and the
While
second
the
round on
SRSG is speaking?
29th of January.
That's what organizers just.
In this context, the Secretary General's new approach to cholera and
They said it was over. You can watch the noon briefing. You can say whatever. It's not over. Yeah, and she's the second speaker, so you're throwing me out too early. The trigger. Yeah, well, please. That's the SRSG. That's the SRSG of Haiti. They killed 10,000 people, and they said they closed the meeting. Watch the noon briefing. Whatever. No, I have nothing. I'm going to the spokesman's office because he said it's open. You know? We're going up. Let's go check it out. Stephane Dujarric. Let's just quote from the noon briefing. You can hear the UN's new strategy on Haiti cholera. Stephane, sorry to bother you. I was just told to leave the Haiti cholera meeting. And since you said it was open.
I said the part would be webcast.
Sandra Honoré is still speaking. There was somebody else filming there too.
I said it would be webcast. The meeting's not open.
It doesn't say closed anywhere on the sign.
Matthew, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. It's a...
Yeah. It's shameful. There's almost no member states there. It's really well organized. Great job. Excellent. Okay, we're going to end it with this one. Watch. We never do this, but it's time to do it. This is the UN photo booth, to which inner city press, having been evicted by the UN for covering the corruption of Ban Ki-moon, which includes giving the top job in the UN in Kenya to his own son-in-law, allowing his mentor, Han Sang-soo, to be a UN official and also on the board of directors of Standard Chartered Bank, which does business with the UN, and Doosan, a South Korean firm that sort of sells water equipment to countries he gives speeches to, particularly sinister given the UN's role in the water and sanitation and murder in Haiti. Now, what happened just now is the following. It was announced yesterday by Ban Ki-moon's spokesman, Stephane Dujarric, that there would be a meeting, that they were very proud of it, that you could see the meeting of the UN's new approach on Haiti cholera. He said it would be on Web TV, very open. So inner city press went. It was 3 o'clock. There was another media, one only, filming in the booth area above the meeting. Went over there, took a couple pictures, went to the other side, did a little voiceover, started this very Periscope, which you can see. Soon, however, as various promises were being made, Ban Ki-moon, of course, is out of town. He's going to Haiti. But his deputy, left holding the bag, said, well, we're having to put back the time of our Haiti cholera plan due to the hurricane, but we're counting on you member states to step forward.
and the room was 95% empty because they didn't get any member states there. Now they're going to blame the member states when Ban Ki-moon has been hiding from legal papers for 5 years. But let's just focus on the specifics. They said to me just now, and you can go back on this thing, you could probably review it, 4 speakers. Well, there was only 1 speaker, and they immediately they pointed up. They sent a guy who said you can stay for 5 minutes. Then they sent 2 UN security officials who've been intimately involved in the ouster and eviction of inner-city press, one of whom is on the board of directors of a company that holds events in the UN for for-profit sneakers, GPS sneakers. So this is what it's come to under the Ban Ki-moon era. Few choose to cover the UN killing 10,000 people, and when you do choose to cover it, they throw you out even into the street. And they don't. A guy sits at his computer saying, well, I said it was open, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know? Horrendous. This place needs to be cleaned up. And that's the end of this broadcast. Unless, whatever, I think I'll live tweet it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, because they're going to try to say that I did something wrong trying to cover a meeting that they themselves said was open. They announced it. I didn't even ask. They were trying to pretend they're doing a good thing after killing 10,000 people, and they can't even do this right. It's really the gang that couldn't shoot straight. Could not shoot straight. They killed the people. If you're going to avoid responsibility, just have the balls to do it till the end of your term. Don't lie and say you're giving $200 million to a room that's empty. And why was it important to actually be there? Not just to voice over, to show the room is empty. This is a lie. This is so Ban Ki-moon can blame the member states for his own impunity. And let's see, if it weren't for the other things, you could say he just came at a bad time, those Nepalese, but the corruption is systemic. It's systemic, and the people defending it, I guess they're sending out their resumes. That's the only thing I can think they'll be doing at this point. And they should. And hopefully as far as possible. This Haiti thing, though, I'm sorry, I'm going to stick with this, because they killed people, right? They brought peacekeepers with a strain of cholera from Nepal, and they had absolutely negligent sanitation practices, and people started dying, and the UN lied. They lied. They did a cover-up panel. I was here when Ban Ki-moon was served legal papers. He said he never saw them. And now, at the tail end, they've already chosen a new Secretary General who hopefully will do the right thing, and we're very open to that. Now, at the last minute, he says he's going to ask an empty room for $200 million, but the timing is off because of the hurricane and the change of government in Haiti. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, and that's probably why they want to censor it, but then don't hold it out in the briefing. Don't say it's an open meeting. It's just a setup to have these white shirts, let's call them, the white shirts, say, you're out of line for trying to cover it. What should be like the Egyptian state media they're giving inner city press's long-term office to, Akbar al-Yam. These guys didn't even come for the acclamation of Antonio Guterres. They didn't come in for the Syria meeting at which Egypt voted with a resolution that got its country in trouble. They don't come. They're not here. But that's what Ban Ki-moon wants. Just like the empty room. It's everyone's fault, but Ban Ki-moon. No. Ross Mountain, all of these people, they're enablers. This is a destruction of what was, I guess, at one time, I believe, I've heard, a credible organization has been infinitely hurt over 10 years. And the various people who've cashed the checks and been the spokesperson and gone to the meetings and pretended the emperor had no clothes are to blame. And the people cashing the checks, basically, the security here is like in a totalitarian country. They are not all of them. I mean, some of them are good people. But when you really got down to it, the people that ordered 10 guards to throw inner city press in the street and broke its laptop, what was that about? There was no resistance, just pure. So the UN is in no place to criticize the countries that it criticizes for freedom of the press. And the whole human rights machinery was informed of this, Mr. Simonovich, etc. Nothing, because they just want to cash those checks. That Ban Ki-moon money. And disgusting. The boss of UN peacekeeping, Hervé Ladsus, you can look this up, September 11th, 2015, sitting at a panel not 50 feet from where I am, said that the UN peacekeepers would commit fewer rapes if they had better R&R. And in any military that I'm aware of in the world, you get fired for that. It's totally unacceptable. And he did it in a briefing room, and he didn't get fired. because the job belongs to France, and they sent this guy who Kofi Annan had the wisdom to turn down for the job, and they plopped him in it, and they left him here for 5 years. So now UN peacekeeping is a joke. They don't protect civilians. They rape people many places where they go. They issue cover-up reports. It's a joke. So what was once the jewel, and is certainly one of the most important jobs, destroyed. Destroyed by the way Ban Ki-moon has run it, allowing this deadbeat who answers no questions, Hervé Latsu, to hold the position. Yesterday, I was editing a video of the new Secretary General Antonio Guterres' answer to my question on Yemen, and somebody came in and said, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. Today, this morning, went to cover a meeting in the ECOSOC chamber, a Security Council meeting about settlements in Palestine, and was told, well, you gotta leave. But this is the most, because they promoted this. They thought this was going to be good, to say the UN is finally, belatedly stepping up to the plate on cholera, and they can't even have it covered by the press. And the reason is there's nobody there. There's nobody in the room. You can go back and look over it. There's a person who came from the US who never even held them accountable. There's a person from DPI who censors the press. It's a joke. It's like one of those early C-SPAN videos in which a certain congressperson from Georgia is giving impassioned speeches, and you turn the camera around and the freaking room is empty. It's all theater. This is like the theater of the absurd here. In the history of the UN, Ban Ki-moon is paid to make a vanity press book. Ban Ki-moon used UN money to have his own Undersecretary General write chapters praising him, and they did it. And when Inner City Press asked how much did it cost, it was never answered. It was online. It was taken offline. It's unbelievable. But when a legitimate, dispassionate history is written of the UN, these are going to be its worst 10 years. The 10 years in which it was almost run into the ground, and those who made excuses and cashed the checks and went to the meetings all bear their part in it. And it has to start again. What can you say, you know? And treat people fairly. No double standards, no censorship. Too much. Antonio Guterres should see that empty room. See the empty room and see what, and it's empty by their choice, okay? Ban Ki-moon, if you're a leader, you're not traveling, going to get new degrees, new honorary degrees in places. They could have gotten member states there, and they didn't. This is just another excuse for them to do nothing. And I hate to say it, the U.S. has Haitian American citizens. It had the Congressional Black Caucus writing repeatedly to Kerry, to Obama, saying you need to make the UN do the right thing, and they didn't do anything because they like to say we're getting along well with the UN. We're so multilateral. So when the UN throws investigative journalists covering Haiti in the street, they do nothing. Then they come up in their own minds with some excuse, well, we would have, or who knows what they do. But there it is. You saw the meeting. What Stephane Dujarric, twice, he announced it yesterday and he announced it today as this big thing that people should look at. Nobody went, and when you do go, they throw you out. He was the same guy who, why the Inner City Press was thrown out of its office? I'll tell you why. There was a meeting held in the UN press briefing room, January 29th, 5 p.m. Didn't say anywhere it was closed, nowhere. We went in, tried to cover it because it's of corruption, because there is a corruption scandal that for once, Ban Ki-moon faces, probably he has immunity, probably just like on Haiti Cholera, he's scot-free, but there was bribery in the UN, and one of the bribers was indicted. One of them was also died or killed. But the indicted man, Ng Lap Seng, Macau-based businessman, gave money, got documents from Ban Ki-moon's secretariat, got them, and spread money around, including to, we're being very careful here. These people apparently, people that aren't even UN people can get other people thrown out. You can look into this meeting. Didn't say it was closed. Dujarric came in and said, please do me the favor, drop the F-bomb, get out of the room. And the next Monday he came back in and said, oh, it's outrageous that you were in here trying to cover it. Just being a journalist. Watch them try to say it's outrageous you try to cover our meeting that we publicized about Haiti Cholera. That's what the UN has come to, an absolute circus. The head of DPI was there. She's actually supposed to be for media access, not censorship. But that ship sailed long ago. Too long ago. You could check it out. And the killer was this thing back in January. Between the time that Dujarric pled and said, please just go so I can go home to my family, 3 weeks later, they ordered Inner City Press to leave after 10 years on 2 hours' notice and never spoke to it once, never asked, why did you cover it? Was the meeting closed or not? Was that announced that it was closed or not? How can you secretly film if you're live broadcasting? Just for the record, I'm not secretly filming. This is going live for what it's worth. As was the thing in the thing, which they said was open. Absolutely it almost can't get more cynical and sleazy than it's become. Now look, this is what I want to show you. Here it is. It is on web TV. Maybe we can get it to focus. This says, if you can't read it, the United Nations, the new United Nations approach to cholera in Haiti. It was supposed to be on web TV. That's what Ban Ki-moon's spokesman said. That's why we went. We click it. We're ready. What's going to happen? Full screen. Oh no! It's closed! It was all a big setup. Groove on, groove on. Okay, on that note, the meeting is closed. We'll have another broadcast coming at you soon. Another fake meeting, not open but closed, where Ban Ki-moon pretends to do great things, but doesn't want coverage. Until then,